So here we are accessing those different properties always with line.start or line.linewidth and line.linecap. And one way to do it a little bit differently is with object destructuring. So what is object destructuring? Object destructuring is the following. Let's have a look at our console in here. And we have our line. This is the same object which we defined over here. And we can access values with line.start.x, for example, and then we can say, well, our start x equals line.start.x. And then we have start x, which is this value. Another way to access that value is with object destructuring, and that works the following. I can do something like this. I say const is equal to line. And in here now I can use one of those properties names. So if I would say, for example, stroke style, like that, what happens is I define a const which is stroke style, like that. So this thing goes and looks if there's a property on line, and on line there is a property stroke style, and then it takes that value and assigns a new variable of type stroke style, defines a new value and assigns it to value blue. So how does that look in here? Well, I can do something like that. Const, and then I have my line. And what do I want to take off? Well, I want to take off the start end. These one I want to keep as an object because they have like properties x, and I don't want, otherwise I would have to define 2 times x. So what I can do is something like that. Start end line width line cap stroke style. Okay, and then I can remove this because what I did is I destructured all those values. So if I would have a look at it, start and line width, line cap, stroke style, then in here I again get all those properties which I just deconstructed, and you see the line still appears as before. So that's object destructuring. You can get a property of by say const, or you can also use var or let, and then you can say, okay, I want to have start property of it, console log start. And if we run that, we see we have here the start object which we destructured. And then you could also go a step further because we know start again is an object. So what we can do is just say, well, we want to destructure start, and from start we want to destructure x. And now we'll get the x value. Start x equals 100, which is start x 100. So that would work like that. Also, if you destructure something on this object, start in itself won't exist anymore. You see, it gives me an error, says start is not defined. So if you want to destructure start itself and properties on that object, you would have to do something like that. First to start and then the property on start. And now, let's save again. Now we have again start is xy and x exists also. Very nice. Okay. that's a way to destructure an object. And the reason for that is that you can take off these properties here, and you can also kind of see a little bit what should this line object look like, because in JavaScript we don't really have any type safety. I could pass in whatever I want, and then like that you can have some kind of idea of what this object looks like. So you know that object will be have some kind of property start, some kind of property end, some kind of property line width, line cap, and stroke style. So now we destructured our object. One thing which we can add is some default values, because right now, for example, if I would remove line cap, what we would destructure here would be the value undefined, because on the object which we pass in, line cap does not exist, and then in here we would just pass on undefined, which then triggers the default behavior of the context.line cap. So right now we have it round, we refresh, we have it round. If I remove that value, it will be squared. So let's say we want to have the default value of always have rounded lines if we don't pass anything in. So what we can do is here say destructure this value, but if it doesn't exist on this object, assign the value round to this object. Now you see I didn't add round to the line, but if I refresh the page, I'll get some kind of error. Stroke style. It's not the stroke style, but the line cap, which I want to adjust. Okay, now it's beautiful round. Same thing for stroke style. I could say, well, if the person doesn't pass in any kind of style, I just make it white. I can remove the stroke style down here, and it becomes white. The person can always pass something in, and it will take this value if it exists, but if the value doesn't exist, it will just make it our default value. And here line width, we could set it to 20, so if we don't have a line width, we just get the line width of 20 pixels. And then we could also add some behavior of saying, well, if we don't have a start or an end, let's throw an error, because we need a start and the end of a line to draw the line. So you could say if not start or not end, then throw new error, start and end of start or end of line not defined. So right now everything runs smoothly. If I would remove end, I get an error, start or end of line not defined at draw line. So when executing this on line 18 and in the script line 38. So 38 I execute it and I get the function error in here. I'm drawing line 18. Here the error is thrown. So this 18 corresponds to where the error is thrown, and this 38 corresponds to where this function has been called. Okay, so to fix it up, we can add our end property again with x100, y100, and we can give it a line width of 50 and a stroke style of blue, so we get the same result as in the beginning. 100, 200. Yeah, and that's destructuring for you.